We have a beautiful morning here in Las Vegas. It's weird. Earlier this week it rained for about 3 days and it was cold, and I think today it's supposed to be in the 90s. It's about 8:30 in the morning and about 75 degrees already, and it's going to be really nice. So I figured we're going a little bit of a bike ride today. And one of the things that we're filming on today is new, is the Insta360 X5. So this is their newest 360 camera. I did a short video on it when I first got it, just to test out the night mode, because the night mode, or I think they're calling it pure video mode, is the newest feature on this camera. And I have to say, compared to the X4 and the X3, this is really good at low light performance. And I just filmed in my backyard, but I'll leave a link to the video so you can see it. It's just a short, it's like a minute long, but the results are pretty amazing. I still don't think it's as good as like a Pocket 3, but if you were looking for kind of a durable, do everything kind of camera, I would say that both the X5 here and the Ace Pro 2 do really well at low light video. Now the X5 has a bunch of improvements over the X4, and I'm not going to do a full review of the camera. I just thought it would be interesting to see what real video kind of looks like out of the camera versus some of the hype videos that you see on these reviewers. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I just turn the camera on, and I know how to edit these videos now because I have been using a 360 camera now for a while. So I'm not as intimidated by the editing process. And I think that's something to talk about. So if you're thinking about getting one of these cameras, there is an extra step in editing that you're going to have to do, because you are taking a picture of everything around you. And so in the editing process, you have to tell the camera what you want to look at. So it does take some time to do that, but it is not hard, but it is an extra step. So just be prepared for that. You can pretty much edit most of the stuff right on your phone or your iPad and then pull it into whatever your software is, but it's really not that difficult. And the desktop app is actually pretty good too. I personally think you get a higher quality video export than if you used your phone. But just be aware of that. If you're going to go for a camera like this, there is an extra step. And I think historically it was pretty intimidating, but now they've simplified it pretty much. And depending on what you're using this camera for, you could have actually AI edit the video for you for little clips and shorts. Now, Insta360 did improve the microphone on this camera. We're not using that microphone today. If it's anything like the Ace Pro 2, which it sounds like it is, I think the microphone's going to do great. It's just on the bike ride, and I have the camera kind of sticking out in front of me, which actually you can't see, but the camera's sticking out just about to my front wheel. But we're using the DJI microphone that's Bluetoothed into the X5. I believe Insta360 just came out with their own version of a microphone. I haven't watched any reviews on that yet, but it seems like they're getting in that space. Now, one of the other things they changed on the X5 is they increased the size of the sensor. So far, I've seen the video out of this camera be a lot cleaner and a lot sharper. There's a little bit of branding hype around these cameras, and that is it shoots 8K video. And you're right, it does. The issue though is that you're not getting an 8K image final result. It's taking 8K in 360 degrees. And then whatever you're cropping in on is going to be something less than 4K. You might get a 2K image at the end of it, but the quality is a lot better given the size of the sensor. Just be careful of what the hype is. The fastest frame rate that you can shoot in 8K is 30 frames a second, and that's what we're on now. So you're going to see a lot more motion blur in the video, but you can drop down, I think, to 5.7K video, and then you can get up to, I think it's 60 frames, at least on the X4, it was 60 frames. And so if you like that kind of action cam look, which I actually do, you could bump the video down. In the daylight, I would say the X4 and the X5 are pretty similar. There are some differences, like I said, in sharpness and clarity, but it's not as noticeable. It's really at night or in low light that you're going to really see the biggest differences. As far as size and weight of the X4 versus the X5, they're exactly the same. So all the accessories that you have, for the most part, will work with one camera versus the other. So if you're upgrading, you don't have to worry about your accessories not working. If you are in the market for accessories, most of your accessories will work if they're listed for an X4. The one kind of other cool feature on the X5 that they did is at the bottom of the camera, they included now a mount. So before, at the bottom of the camera, you used to have to just use a 1/4-20 and all the selfie sticks just screw into the bottom of the camera. But lately they've been getting into these quick releases just like everybody else. And the quick releases make things a lot easier to take cameras on and off and remount them in different places. And so they built in kind of the quick release system to the bottom of the X5. So that makes getting the camera mounted or changed around extremely easy. The other big feature about this camera that they're advertising pretty heavily is the replaceable lenses. Now, the X3 and the X4 had these replaceable lens guards, and there's been different iterations of those. I think they tried to really lean in heavy on the lens guards on the X4. So they gave you the plastic version that was available on the X3, and then they didn't give you, you had to buy them, but a Gorilla Glass version on the X4 that were supposed to be a little more durable and higher clarity. I really didn't like those at all. And the reason being is they created a lot of lens flare. Given I don't do a lot of action sports, meaning I'm not running this down a mountain or surfing with it or anything where this thing's going to fall, I never really used the lens guards, and I never had an issue with dropping the camera. The lenses are the most important thing as far as quality. Last thing I do before I leave the house, and the first thing I do when I get back, is I put the lens cover, this little rubber lens cover on, so it protects the lenses in case I do drop the camera getting it on and off the bike. But I've never had a problem just using the camera quote unquote naked. Now, on this camera though, on the X5, if you did run the camera without any lens guards and you happen to damage the lenses, they now made it where the lenses themselves are replaceable. I think they're like $30 for the kit, and you'll see a bunch of people on these reviews taking a hammer to the glass and trying to break it and then change out the lens guards or change out the lenses. So that's their big marketing thing for this camera as well, is you don't have to send your camera in, have a warranty claim, and then wait for your camera to come back. You can just order the lens guards, and if you know that you're a mountain biker or skier or something, and there's a higher propensity of you injuring the camera, you can order the lens guards in advance. That way, if you do screw one up, you have a backup. I really enjoy using the Insta360 products. I think the Ace Pro 2, I've had the Ace Pro 1, that was a good camera. The Ace Pro 2 they just made it even better as far as a low light. They put 2 AI processing chips in that particular camera. And with the X5, they did the same thing. And that's how you're able to get the kind of that pure shot quality. I think the other thing to consider too, if you're looking at one of these versus, do I save a little bit of money and get the X4 or the X5? Keep in mind that even in my little test, that was complete darkness. And I've done other tests of riding this same route with the X4 at night, and they're just not good. So that pure video mode now is going to be, I think, a game changer. But low light doesn't mean darkness. Light means overcast skies or shade or indoor filming. You might want to use the pure video mode. So just keep that in perspective as well, because I've tried to use the X4 for some things, and even just inside my house, playing around with it. And there's a lot of grain where if you take it outside where there's a lot of light, there's no problem. But with the pure video mode in the X5, it takes all that away, balances out the light, removes the grain, and it's just really a much better camera for all around situations. If image quality is your concern, then this isn't the right camera for you. It's good, but is it the best 8K image? You know, the answer is no. You're even going to get a better 4K image out of the Ace Pro 2 in most cases. But is it a do everything kind of camera? And the answer is yes, because I could track anything I want to that the camera can see. I could zoom in within reason to some extent. I could zoom out to a tiny planet view. It gives you a lot of versatility, and there's a lot of creators online that can probably demonstrate this a lot better than I can. The sort of downside with this camera is that you have to have it mounted on some sort of stick. You could use it handheld in single image mode, but it's really designed to capture that 360 view and then reframe later. So you do have to have a little bit of distance between you and the camera. And as you can see, it removes the selfie stick. So, you know, that's a benefit. But, you know, if you're walking around town with it, you're the guy now carrying a camera on a selfie stick, and that's fine. And I also recommend getting the really giant one. They make a giant, I'll leave a link for it, but they make a giant selfie stick, and that one there is really good for simulating a drone shot, for example, especially in places where you can't fly a drone. This gives you that kind of same look. I do a lot of time-lapse stuff with my Insta360 cameras, and so I'll extend that pole out as much as I can to capture sunsets and things like that with time-lapse, and that just works amazing. But keep in mind that in order to get this camera to work as designed, you will have to create a little bit of distance between you and the lens. Unless you're using single cam or single lens mode and you're just looking straight out, then you're fine. I think a regular action camera would give you that same view at a higher quality image. I still think the best camera for the money, although I think they just raised the prices, but I think the best camera for the money is the DJI Pocket 3. But the problem with that particular camera is it's somewhat fragile. So if you're looking again for a do everything kind of camera, I think your choices are going to be an action camera, traditional style thing, or this camera here, because this camera is waterproof. You can get it wet, you can mount it anywhere you want kind of thing, and you don't even have to point it in the right direction and it'll get the right picture. It just depends on what your use case is for. If you're looking for something that you could shoot a movie on, then You know, the Pocket 3 is probably better. If you need that really wide field of view with great video quality, then I think your Ace Pro is great. And then if you need something that does everything without having to think a lot about it, then I think this camera is great. And then also consider of where you'll be using this camera. Where do you want to mount it? Because this gives you a lot of flexibility. You can mount this thing anywhere, and it's going to take a 360 image, and then it's kind of fire aim. You don't have to really worry about it too much. This camera has been sticking out in front of me. I haven't touched it. And I could look at anything. We changed the perspective around a little bit through even this video. So if you want that flexibility of shoot now and frame later, then I think the X5 is a great option for you. So I will leave links below to all these things. I do have an affiliate link with Insta360. I think your benefit is they'll give you either a discount or sometimes, depending on when you click on it, they'll give you some free accessory kind of things or an upgraded something or other. Just keep an eye out for that. And then there's Amazon links below just to help you shop easier. And that way you can get directly to the things I talked about. But I appreciate you guys watching. Hope this was helpful as far as a real world perspective, non-sponsored type review of somebody who's been using these cameras now for a while. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.